Yehi Shem. Yehi Shem is a very, very unique minhag to the Halabi community. It's a minhag that does not exist in any other community that I know of, not in the Shami community, not in the Lebanese community, not in the Egyptian community. It's strictly a Halabi thing. Now, I'm not referring to the Yehi Shem that we would say if no tahanunim, that is, no anna is being said that day, so we scream out Yehi Shem and we're very happy because we shorten the prayers. Rather, the Yehi Shem that is said after the tahanunim are said, whether it's a regular weekday or Monday and Thursday, at the end of the tahanunim in the Halabi tradition, after you said Anna and Vayabor and the David and Abin Malkenu, you're still saying those three Pesukim of Yehi Shem. Now, what's going on over here? No other community does it, and when they look at the Halabi community, they think the Halabi are making a mistake. Those Pesukim are there only because on a day that you don't say Tahanunim, you need three Pesukim to say Hasi Kaddish. Over here we said all the Tahanunim, we had plenty of Pesukim. There's absolutely no reason to say Yehi Shem. This must be a mistaken minhag, a carryover from somebody who saw it printed in a book and didn't know the correct instructions, and people are doing the wrong thing. In fact, that's not true, and I'd like to thank Rabbi David Zafrani and the Sephardic Heritage Museum for the research that Rabbi Zafrani has done there in locating the source for this minhag of the Halabi community to say Yehi Shem. Yehi Shem, first and foremost, appears in the Mahzor Aram Soba. That's the famed Mahzor of Aleppo, Syria, that was printed in Venice in 1527. Yehi Shem is right there. At the end of the Tahanunim, on page 53b, you see Yehi Shem. So that's the first indicator that we have that it was actually said in Syria, going back at least 500 years ago, and this is obviously no mistake. So the question is, what is going on over here, and why is this minhag done, and why do we see on a regular Kol Yaakov Sidur, we'll see Yehi Shem in a weekday Shahrit printed 3 times. If it's a day with no Tahanunim, if it's a Monday and Thursday Tahanunim, we have it afterwards. If it's the other days of the week, we have it printed after those Tahanunim to indicate us not to forget the minhag, that we say Yehi Shem no matter what. So why should such a minhag even exist? And it seems that this is much older than minhag Aram Soba, and is something that goes back at the very least to Masechet Sofrim. Masechet Sofrim seems to be a compendium of the Geonim, of laws and customs. Some say it came from Babel, some say it reflects the minhagim of Eretz Yisrael from an earlier time period. In either case, it shows that these Pesukim of Yehi Shem were said prior to Kaddish, before the Amidah, with a Barechu as well, or in place of a Barechu, and that was for people who may not have been there earlier. And then later on, it got pushed off to after the Amidah. And there in Masechet Sofrim it says, but the people of the west, meaning Eretz Yisrael, and the people of the east, meaning Babylonia, have accustomed themselves to say it after Oseh Shalom of the 3 daily prayers of the Amidah, and even after reading of the Torah. The words Yehi Shem were said before Kaddish and Barechu, right before the Amidah, and that was later changed to be said after each Amidah. And that's what we're doing today. After the Tahanunim, we're saying Yehi Shem. If there are no Tahanunim, we just say the Yehi Shem directly. Now, these sources present to us an understanding of why we say Yehi Shem after the Amidah, providing 3 Pesukim, not just to say Kaddish, but it seems from the sources now that Yehi Shem was said to announce and to initiate the saying of Barechu and Kaddish. Now we understand it, because we're saying Yehi Shem. What's Yehi Shem Adonai Borach Me'ata Ve'adolam? It means let the name of God be blessed from now on forever. So this is a preamble. This is something to let us know, to prepare ourselves for Kaddish, which is the exalting of God's name, and Barechu, which is, of course, once again, blessing God's name. So regardless of other Pesukim were said in Tahanim or not, you still would need the Yehi Shem to introduce the upcoming Kaddish. And as we said, this is a minhag that goes back at least 1,500 years based upon this source of Masechet Sofrim. In the 1409 manuscript of Mahzor Aram Soba, we even see Yehi Shem listed after Hallel with a reminder, do not forget to say Yehi Shem after Hallel. So once again, Yehi Shem has to be said. When? After the prayers are said, even though there's so many different psukim, but prior to the Kaddish. There's an early source from the Cairo Geniza that seems to show a old Egyptian Siddur that's anywhere from 600 to 900 years old, and once again we see the Pisukim of Yehi Shem. In the old Romaniat Siddurim that are no longer in use, we see Yehi Shem over there. In the old Persian Siddur that's in manuscript form, once again Yehi Shem is there. So Yehi Shem is a very, very old custom. It seems to go back to the days of the Geonim, and even though we do not find it in the Siddurim of Rab Amram Gaon or Rab Sa'adya Gaon, we know obviously that this is an ancient minhag, and shouldn't be like people want to dismiss minhagim and say, we don't need this minhag, other people don't do this minhag, or we've figured out, quote unquote, the reason for the minhag, because just we need pisukim, and we no longer need it, so we could shorten the prayer by expunging these 3 pisukim. That's not the case. This is an ancient minhag. It's there for a reason. It has its sources, and we should be proud to be defenders and upkeepers of our holy minhagim. And that is Yehi Shem. So when you hear Yehi Shem, even on a day that is not a day that we're cutting out Taharim, still be happy. Be happy to know that you're upkeeping the minhag of Yehi Shem, Adonai, Borach, Me'ata, Ve'ad Olam.